Back in my youth, as a budding tea leaf, I did not have the luxury of knowing about all the latest and greatest games that were coming out around that time. I was focused on studies, and later on work, as well as, not dying. I kept myself content with my good old Doom 2 that I've had since I was about the age of fetus, that one pinball game that was installed on every Windows XP computer, what I thankfully upgraded the second before I got out of high school, and whatever I could emulate at the time, which wasn't too much above the 16-bit era. Then nature happened. That story I'll save for another day, though. Thanks to FEMA money, I was able to build back a lot of what I lost. Starting with the computer. Starting with a place to live, but then swiftly after, a computer. It was a true pinnacle of gaming machine. Multifunctional, toasty on those cold Iowa nights, cost a cool $300 at Walmart, the cheapest laptop they had, and even discounted because it was a display model. And I remember the first game I bought for this lovely rig, knowing I couldn't run it for shit, but I was hyped for this game for years after it came out, having never touched it. And there was something heartwarming about a shithouse rig that could play a truly technological marvel of a game at the time at a solid 4 frames a second and cook breakfast. This was my first experience with the black sheep of the family, Doom 3. Doom 3 was a labor of love that took 4 whole years of development from the brains at id Tech, created by Doom vets like Tim Willits and the vessel-holding fourth-dimensional being then last hope for humanity should there ever be a life-ending asteroid coming to wipe out all of life, John Carmack. And yes, he still has that face. John Carmack is a strange being, omnipotent I am sure, who randomly every once in a while gets a wild hair up his ass and decides to push gaming forward about a half-decade. Not anymore though, he's kinda all over the place, switching from game wizard to actual rocket scientist to CTO of Oculus, and now he's working on perfecting an actual AI.
We will potentially have clear signs of AGI maybe as soon as a decade from now.
Wow. Because that's never ended poorly. Anyways, Doom 3 is a departure from the older games, where instead of being a roided out space marine running around shooting anything that moves at breakneck speeds, now you're a roided out space marine running around shooting at anything that moves slowly in the dark. Like, really dark. Like, I got the brightness on high and look at this shit. Fucking called that shit. Come here. I'm not knocking it. Doom 3 continues the path that id Tech went with Doom 64. We'll get to that one day, trust me. It went for a more atmospheric horror vibe, which occasionally it pulled off a lot better than it should have, I regret to inform you. No! Oh, son of a bitch! Where did you come from? Why did you respawn? I fucking... Fuck this game! Replayability, though, is kinda shit, because every jump scare and spooky noise has a fairly obvious trigger. I'm both playing this 7 years since the last time I did, in hopes that my drug-addled brain will have forgotten everything, spoilers, it did. And I'll be playing this with a mod, Perfected Doom 3, for a higher monster count, extra goodies throughout the game, a few extra hell levels, and... enough of this shit, let's start the game.